So, good afternoon, everybody. I am Biswajit Datta, Director, Success at Education Services, Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh. You must be knowing this fact that CLAT 2022 is right now in the pipeline, and in the next 2 months, people would be writing this particular exam. And legal reasoning is a very important part. We all know that, and you people must have prepared a lot about it, must be doing since a year and so on. So I'm sure that everything is all set and done. So in this series of lectures, in fact, we'll take up one question on a daily basis, and we'll put some inputs into it so that people who are preparing, sitting at home, they would be finding all such inputs to be very important for the examinations. So I'll be having a legal reasoning question on the board that is basically based on certain issue, and then you are supposed to write down the answers to 4 to 5 questions based on that. We know that in our kind of examinations, there are around 35 to 38 questions would be there in the paper, and we are supposed to do almost every question, because I know that most of the people who prepare for this exam, they find the legal reasoning part to be the most useful, to be the most easy, to be the most easiest in fact, and to be the most ease giving kind of section, and on which out of 35 37 it is very easy to score 28 plus, 29 plus and sometimes 30 plus. तो इतना काफ़ी होता है. तो आज देखेंगे, आज हम नेक्स्ट जो सेक्शन उठाया है, जो टॉपिक उठाया है, दैट इज अगेन एन इशू, और इस इशू के ऊपर हम बात करेंगे कि आप इसको कैसे रिजॉल्व करेंगे, एंड we'll have 4 to 5 questions based on that. So you can check out this passage. This is based on the bill which is on the making of a particular language to be very necessary for somebody to opt for a job in that state. You must have heard in 2020 the Assam Education Minister, at that time it was Himanta Biswa Sarma, has presented a bill in the state cabinet that Assamese will be made a compulsory subject in all schools of the state, and only those who have studied the language till class 10 will be eligible for the government jobs in the state. The bill, however, clarified that the rule will be applicable to all areas in the state barring 3 Barak Valley districts and the Bodoland Territorial Autonomous Districts, where similar clauses will be introduced: Bengali for Barak Valley and Bodo for Bodoland Territorial Autonomous Districts. The state cabinet has taken a decision to make Assamese a mandatory subject in all the mediums of the school. तो इसको एक mandatory subject बनाया गया है या बनाया जा रहा है, to be introduced in all the schools that runs in that state, चाहे वो English medium school हो या Bengali medium school or whatever the medium of that school is. This particular subject is going to be taken as a compulsory subject. Everyone has to study this particular subject if somebody wants to secure a job in that state. Job, I mean the government sector job. So somebody who would like to get into a government sector job, he has to have that compulsory subject. मतलब आप मान सकते हैं कि सर ज़्यादातर जो काम है वो उस सब्जेक्ट में होता होगा, इसलिए हमें ये सब्जेक्ट आना चाहिए. Now coming on to the provision that comes under the Constitution of India, we know that with respect to somebody who could get a job or an employment in the state, I mean to all the state employments, this is the provision under Article 16 that I read. Under Article 16 of Indian Constitution, there shall be equality of opportunity for all citizens in matters relating to employment or employment to any office under the state. No citizen shall, on grounds only of religion, race, caste, sex, descent, place of birth, residence or any of them, be ineligible or discriminated against in respect of any employment or office under the state. So this is the provision under Article 16 of the Constitution of India, that you cannot, no citizen shall on any ground only of religion, ये word याद रखें, race, caste, sex, descent, place of birth, residence or any of them be ineligible for or discriminated against in respect of any employment or office under this state. तो आप उसको इनएलिजिबल नहीं कर सकते हो कि आप इस जाति के हो, आप इस प्रांत के हो, आप यहाँ रहते हो, इसलिए आप स्टेट के सर्विसेज को एक्वायर नहीं कर सकते. चूंकि आप पहाड़ी पर रहते हो, चूंकि आप किसी ट्राइबल एरिया में रहते हो, इसलिए आप स्टेट के अंदर कोई जॉब है, स्टेट गवर्नमेंट में कोई जॉब है, तो उसको आप एक्वायर नहीं कर सकते, आप उसको इनएलिजिबल नहीं कर सकते ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ एनी वन ऑफ दिस. किसी के आधार पर, इनमें से किसी भी आधार पर आप ऐसा नहीं कर सकते हो. साथ में कुछ और भी आपके साथ में ऐड हुआ है. नथिंग इन दिस आर्टिकल शैल प्रिवेंट द स्टेट फ्रॉम मेकिंग एनी प्रोविजन फॉर द रिजर्वेशन ऑफ अपॉइंटमेंट्स और पोस्ट इन फेवर ऑफ शेड्यूल कास्ट, शेड्यूल ट्राइब्स और एनी बैकवर्ड क्लास ऑफ सिटीजन्स which in the opinion of the state is not adequately represented in the service under the state. अब मान लीजिए there are certain areas which are absolutely very backward, and in all these state level jobs or in state level employment, those people are not adequately given the presentation or the representation. तो उनके लिए या उनको अपलिफ्ट करने के लिए, उनको आगे लाने के लिए, उनको मेन स्ट्रीम इकोनॉमी में डालने के लिए, if the state is going to take certain provisions, if the state is making certain privileges, if the state is making certain amount of advantages to those people, यदि स्टेट को लगता है ऐसा करना उचित है तो स्टेट ऐसा कर सकता है. So that is also a good thing. Under the 6th schedule, as you know that this is a very important schedule of the Constitution of India, the tribal areas particularly of Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram are empowered to safeguard the rights of tribal population through the formation of autonomous district councils, and these ADCs are bodies representing a district to which the constitution has given varying degrees of autonomy within the state legislature for different tribes. ये जो 6th schedule का advantage है, this advantage has particularly given to those areas, खास करके आपने देखा यहाँ पर मैंने define किया है असम, मेघालय, त्रिपुरा and मिजोरम, because you will find there are tribal people have very much, you will find a category of tribal people who are associated in these states. तो यहाँ पर इनको कुछ मिलता ही नहीं है, पढ़े लिखे नहीं है, they are not educated, and because of that all the government's schemes, all the government's privileges, they are not able to get to those schemes and privileges. तो क्या करें? तो हमारे 6th शेड्यूल में ये एडवांटेज दिया है कि इन लोगों के लिए हमारे पास ADCs होना चाहिए, दैट इज ऑटोनोमस डिस्ट्रिक्ट काउंसिल्स, जिसमें उन्हीं लोगों के लोग हैं होस्ट में, और ये तय कर सके कि इन लोगों के लिए क्या प्रायोरिटीज होनी चाहिए, व्हाट आर द डिफरेंट प्रायोरिटीज, व्हाट आर द डिफरेंट पॉसिबिलिटीज दैट समबडी कुड मेक इन ऑर्डर टू ब्रिंग देम इनटू द मेन स्ट्रीम economy, not just in the mainstream economy, but to uplift those people and to recognize them that they are the part of the society, because those are the most discarded societies of the state. वो अलग थलग रहते हैं, उनके अपनी अलग लाइफ होती है, अलग पहचान होती है, तो वो अपने पहचान को भी ना खोए और अपने लाइफ को आगे लेके आ सके, बिकॉज एवरी कल्चर एंड एवरी सिविलाइजेशन इज इंपॉर्टेंट. तो इसको लेकर ये पूरा का पूरा आपके पास सवाल है. Now come to the first question. If the maximum population of the state is Assamese, whereas some 50 to 20% population are non-Assamese, considering this fact, check the validity of the bill on the basis of equality. मतलब उस स्टेट में ज्यादातर लोग आसामीज बोलते हैं, आई मीन मोस्ट ऑफ द पीपल आर आसामीज. आसामीज बोलते नहीं है, दे आर आसामीज बेसिकली. और करीब 15 से 20% पॉपुलेशन ऐसे जो नॉन आसामीज है. सो यू कैन से दैट बिकॉज देर आर अदर टेरिटरीज हु आर एडजस्टेंट टू असम ऑल्सो. तो हो सकता है कि उस स्टेट में कुछ बंगाल के लोग पहुंच गए हों, वहाँ रहने लगे हों, दूसरे स्टेट के कुछ लोग पहुंच गए हो, बिकॉज वी यूज टू समटाइम travel to different places in order to get some opportunities towards different types of economies that we want to acquire sometimes. तो कोई आसाम है तो कोई टी का बागान खरीदने चला गया, ऐसे भी बहुत सारे लोग होते हैं, फिर वो बस जाते हैं वहाँ पर. ऐसा करके मान के चलते हैं that there are 15 to 20% of the population who are not at all Assamese. Now if I look at this fact and consider the validity of the bill, now put me on the understanding what is the basis of equality. मतलब क्या आप कहोगे, considering the fact that 15 to 20% of the people of the state are non-Assamese, what is the validity of the bill on the basis of equality? मतलब वो 15 से 20% जो लोग हैं, क्या वो ये नहीं बोलेंगे कि यार ये तो आसामीज लोगों के लिए बनाया गया है, उनको उनके लैंग्वेज है, तो अब उनके लैंग्वेज का कंपलसरी जानना तभी मेरे को जॉब मिलेगा, दिस इज एब्सोल्युटली इनवैलिड, मेरे लिए तो सही नहीं है, ऐसा कह सकते हैं. तो यू हैव टू चेक द वैलिडिटी ऑफ द बिल based on the fact that is given to you, that is 15 to 20% of the people of that state are not Assamese, on the basis of equality. Which of them are correct out of the four given options? Let us check one by one. The bill is valid and is not discriminating with anybody, as the state can do so because of the provisions defined in the constitution. Second, the bill is not valid and is discriminating with other people of the state, making them compelled to study Assamese. Third, the bill is not valid and it is violating the basic fundamental right, that is right to equality, and imposing Assamese culture on the non-Assamese people. The bill is valid as it is prepared by the elected government. Now what do you say about all these four options? If somebody wants to pick up the answer, you can come out with this. See, the most likely answer may be sometimes people come out with either A कि सर ये हो सकता है कि A वाला मेरा करेक्ट हो सकता है कुछ लोग बोले कि सर ये तो वैलिड नहीं है क्योंकि ये तो काफी डिस्क्रिमिनेटिंग है, आप आसामीज लोगों को, नॉन आसामीज लोगों को आसामीज पढ़ने के लिए कंपेल कर रहे हो. See, I'm talking about those people who are living in Assam. Okay, all right. So sometime later they are going to contribute towards Assam. So in that sense, you need to know Assamese. Is how the structure of the passage is all about. कि भैया आसाम में काम करना है, मेजोरिटी ऑफ द पीपल आर आसाम, तो आसामीज, तो उनके लैंग्वेज को प्रायोरिटी देना इज नथिंग रॉन्ग, एंड देयर इज ए प्रोविजन. वी आर फंडामेंटली करेक्ट अकॉर्डिंग टू द प्रोविजन ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन कि आप ऐसा कर सकते हो. फॉर एन एग्जाम्पल, महाराष्ट्र में मराठी आप कंपलसरी कर सकते हो एक सब्जेक्ट, केरला में आप मलयालम कर सकते हो, बंगाल में आप बंगाली कर सकते हो. इन ए सिमिलर मैनर आप आसाम में आसामी से कंपलसरी सब्जेक्ट कर सकते हो, क्योंकि इट इज जस्ट ए सब्जेक्ट और कोई भी उसको पढ़ सकता है, उसको पढ़ने में किसी का नुकसान नहीं होगा. सो देयरफॉर इन दैट केस द आंसर कम्स आउट टू बी ऑप्शन नंबर फर्स्ट. कम टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. कार्तिक Dutt, who is an Assamese, not belong to any of the tribal areas, regions, and have not studied Assamese till 10th standard. Is he eligible to secure a government job in the state of Assam? Now the question is, he is not a tribal population. He doesn't belong to any tribal area. Had he belonged to any tribal area, he would have gone for those advantages. कि क्या उसको बंगाली आता है या क्या उसको बोडो आता है. यदि बोडो से रिलेट करता है वो, तो उसको बोडो आना चाहिए. यदि वो बाकी वाले एरिया से रिलेट करता है तो उसको बंगाली आना चाहिए. नाउ द क्वेश्चन इज, ही इज नॉट वन ऑफ देम, ही इज आसामीज, बट राइट नाउ ही स्टडीड आउटसाइड. उसने बाहर रह के पढ़ाई करी है. तो अब आपको बताना अच्छा ऐसा नहीं है, he has not studied Assamese till 10th standard. तो ये तो कंपलसरी था कि 10th standard तक आपको Assamese पढ़ना चाहिए. तो since he has not studied, so he is disqualified. So therefore in that case the right answer would be no, he cannot, since he has not studied Assamese till 10th standard. Alright, so this would be the right answer. बाकी तीन आप देख सकते हो yes में दिया हुआ है. Yes, he can, since he has an Assamese, has nothing to with whether you are Assamese or you are not. You are supposed to have this unless you won't be able to secure a job in Assam, in any government sector. Second, third में दिया yes, he can if he knows how to speak Assamese. Is again not important because you can speak but you cannot write. Somebody who knows Assamese would need to have both read and write. So somebody who is able to speak must be able to know how to write Assamese. There are lot many people who know how to speak the language but they are not able to write the language. So therefore this way they are going to be disqualified. He cannot. Or third बोला yes if he learns Assamese. Now yes if he learns Assamese does not fall under the ambit of the law, which says that you need to have compulsory education on Assamese as one of the subject as Assamese till 10th standard, which either you go back and do and come back, which is again not possible. So in this way this is also does not come true. Now come for the next one. Rajiv, who has recently passed out his 12th standard from a school in Delhi and have not studied Assamese, though he is an Assamese. Okay. He objected that the bill is absolutely invalid and discriminatory in nature because his chances of getting a government job in Assam has completely vanished, as he could not go back to school again and study Assamese. Considering this case, and what could be said about this? Now, this is a very specific case. You could understand that somebody who has studied outside, have not studied Assamese, or for that matter, he studied the other subject. Since he stayed at a different place, he took up his education in that way. Now, if he wants to bring this particular bill in the front and try to debate on that, what provisions or what argument he is going to bring out? Now, come for one by one. This is a specific case, and Rajiv being studied in a metro city would not be a problem for him to get a good job. Hence, this bill is not invalid and discriminatory. Yeah, that is an option. But we are supposed to find out what is the justification for the bill to be valid, or what is the injustification for the bill to be discriminatory. We are going to calculate that. Second option says, this is a specific case, and Rajiv being an Assamese should not be devoid of the right of getting a government job in Assam. Hence, for him, this bill is invalid and discriminatory. Now, the question is, जब ये बिल मैंने बनाया तो हो सकता है मेरे बिल में कुछ कमी हो. That means I may not have taken the consideration of those people who have recently going to pass out from the school, for an example, and they might not have studied the subject Assamese in that way. So I need to have certain provisions for these people so that these people could be considered. क्योंकि ये जो मैं बिल ला रहा हूँ, this bill may be applied for the future population who are supposed to secure their education till 10th standard to be with one of the subject having a compulsory subject as Assamese. तो अभी जो निकल रहे हैं इनके लिए तो ये लागू नहीं होना चाहिए. सो देयरफॉर इनके लिए ये डेफिनेटली इनवैलिड हो सकता है और डिस्क्रिमिनेटरी भी हो सकता है. तो मेरे हिसाब से ये वाला ऑप्शन अभी काफी अच्छा निकल कर आ रहा है. देखते हैं बाकी कोई ऑप्शन अच्छा निकलता है कि नहीं. दिस इज अ स्पेसिफिक केस, एंड राजीव being an Assamese should not be deprived of the right of getting a job in Assam. Hence, for him, the bill is discriminatory but not invalid. भाई यदि इनवैलिड नहीं है, उस पर्टिकुलर बंदे के लिए बिल इनवैलिड है. यदि वो इनवैलिड नहीं है तो डिस्क्रिमिनेटरी प्रूव करना बहुत डिफिकल्ट हो जाएगा. इफ द बिल इज करेक्ट, देयर इज नो इनवैलिडिटी इन द बिल, then it would be very difficult somebody to put it on a test that it is discriminatory. आप प्रूव नहीं कर सकते हो. प्रूव करने में बड़ी मशक्कत करनी पड़ेगी. सर इनवैलिड है इसीलिए वो डिस्क्रिमिनेटरी कर रहे हैं, मतलब इनवैलिड इज द कॉज एंड डिस्क्रिमिनेशन इज द इफेक्ट ऑफ दैट. सो एज ए रिजल्ट उसका इनवैलिड और डिस्क्रिमिनेटरी होना जरूरी है. इनवैलिड होगा तभी और डिस्क्रिमिनेटरी होगा. So there is a cause and effect situation that is applied, which comes to option number B better than that of option number C. इसलिए C को नहीं लूंगा. और थर्ड बोला nothing can be said and it is very complicated. That is the reason why it is complicated, isn't it? That somebody who has recently come out, और उस बंदे जैसे बहुत सारे बंदे होंगे, उनको ध्यान में रखा नहीं है गवर्नमेंट ने. उनको बिना ध्यान में रखे हुए द गवर्नमेंट हैज कम आउट विद दिस आइडिया दैट वी कैन मेक दिस सब्जेक्ट टू बी ए कंपल्सरी सब्जेक्ट फॉर एवरीबडी to be passing in school up till 10th standard. Only then you can secure a government sector job. There is nothing wrong in that, but you need to also consider taking those people who have recently going to pass from the school education. So in that case, आपको ये ध्यान रखना पड़ेगा. And come to the next one. Assume that there is no indigenous tribe in Assam and the state government is bringing such type of bill. Is it valid? Now what I'm talking about, यदि इंडिजीनियस आपके पास ट्राइबल पीपल है तो उनके अब अलग क्लॉजेज है, क्योंकि उनको आपको एक्स्ट्रा ऑटोनॉमी देना है. तो यदि आपको उनको एक्स्ट्रा ऑटोनॉमी देना है तो आपको ये भी जानना पड़ेगा कि उनकी क्या लैंग्वेजेस है, उनके अपने ट्राइब में कौन सी लैंग्वेजेस बोली जाती है, तो उनको उन लैंग्वेजेस को शामिल करना पड़ेगा. अब चूंकि आपके स्टेट में ऐसा कोई ट्राइबल ग्रुप ही नहीं है, सो देयरफॉर ब्रिंगिंग आउट सच लैंग्वेज एंड मेकिंग इट कंपल्सरी to all the population of that state would not hamper anybody and would not be invalid and discriminatory at all. तो अब देखते हैं क्या क्या ऑप्शन हो सकता है. इज इट वैलिड? यस इट इज वैलिड. अब देखो इट इज वैलिड के तीन ऑप्शन है. ये तो वैसे ही आउट हो गया, सो देयर इज नथिंग टू वरी अबाउट इट. विल चेक बी सी एंड डी विच वन इज करेक्ट. इट इज वैलिड एज द स्टेट गवर्नमेंट कैन कंपल टू स्टडी एनी सब्जेक्ट. कम ऑन, दिस डज नॉट गो वेल. कंपल नहीं कर सकते हो आप. Second, it is valid as the state government is making a provision for all the citizens of the state. Yes, this provision is for all the citizens of the state and there is no problem with that. It is valid. The decision is of the elected government by the people. Now, of course, the decision is valid because the elected government is taken. But however, if the decision is going to be discriminatory, then it is not going to be valid just because that it has been elected by the people of that state. All right. So therefore, it also does not go well. So the right option comes out to be option number C in this case. Right. Come to the last one. What is the intention of the state government while making Assam is a compulsory subject in all the schools of the Assam? Now this is some sort of, I would say, a critical type of a question, or I must say, what is the assumption in the mind of the government to bring out Assam is to be the compulsory subject for all the students of Assam to be studying till 10th standard in order to secure a job in the government sector. भाई जब मैं आपके लिए ऐसा कुछ बना दूंगा तो आपके लिए सब्जेक्ट पढ़ना अनिवार्य हो जाएगा, क्योंकि ऐसे तो हम कल्चर की बात करते नहीं है, बट सब्जेक्ट लैंग्वेज कल्चर की बात होती है. अब देखते हैं कि गवर्नमेंट ने क्या सोचा होगा इनमें से. द गवर्नमेंट वांट्स टू गिव जॉब्स टू ओनली दोज आसामीज पीपल. ये गवर्नमेंट ने सोचा होता तो सब्जेक्ट लाने की जरूरत नहीं होती. सो दिस डज नॉट गो वेल. Second, the state wants to encourage people to learn Assamese and preserve their culture. This is something that brings an idea about the reason as to why Assamese should be compulsory in order to secure a job in the public sector. Tisra, the state wants to impose Assamese culture on the citizen. Does not go well. And D says that a state wants to show that Assamese is the best language. This is again a very absurd kind of option. So out of this, the best option comes out to be option number B, and this is how somebody can find it out. This is a little critical reasoning kind of question based on some sort of critical reasoning kind of thing. So this is what exactly happened in the paper. You are supposed to read that context, read that passage completely. Only when you understand and you are able to correlate with the idea of the writer that why he has written it, and then you are able to cater any kind of question based on that. So tomorrow again we'll meet with something else. Till then, thank you so much and may God bless you. Subscribe Success at Education Services for such videos and much more. Thank you. May God bless you.